Tony Romo catching all kinds of flack for not shutting up in the aftermath of a Super Bowl winning play in overtime on Sunday night, which you heard right there. He just needed to be quiet, as the best analysts would have done. They would have known to just be quiet and say nothing. And if anyone is to be talking, it's Jim Nantz. And even Jim Nantz had already started to be quiet and let the sounds and sights tell the story to the audience watching the game. Andrew Marchand, who is one of the top media critics out there in sports media, writes that Nantz and Romo were once supposed to be the next Pat Summerall and John Madden, but have fallen so far that their disjointed performance Sunday was one CBS will likely take. Before the final play, the broadcast was far from perfect, but it was mostly manageable. Maybe not one to overnight to the sports Emmys, but on the production side, it had its moments. Nantz and Romo make the big money, he writes, a near $30 million a year between them. So like quarterbacks, they receive the most credit and blame. Their quarterback rating was not high enough, missing obvious big themes. The duo failed to ever explain why the defenses, especially the 49ers had Travis Kelce in the first half, were having their way for so long with the offenses. They were also very underwhelming when CBS's production team expertly spotted Kelce bumping and screaming at his 65-year-old head coach. They rarely spoke about line play, and the overarching themes of the game were often missed. There were no threads. The grading for the Super Bowl broadcast is the highest level because it is the most prestigious assignment in American sportscasting. Nantz has called the game 6 times, but his partners, first Phil Simms and now Romo, have digressed under his watch. A bad trend. Great point by him. Partners of Jim Nantz have started here at the top and have ended here at the bottom, either being fired, as his first partner Phil Simms was from the role, and the thing that everyone is calling for with Romo, a firing from the top broadcast crew on CBS. That doesn't speak to the ability of Jim Nantz to have chemistry with a broadcast partner. Not a good trend for him either. It's not all Romo. Romo obviously sucks.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was, and I don't think Marchand is either. But you've got to put some blame on Jim Nantz in this as well. Put it down as doesn't play well with others. Jim Nantz. You get that on your report card there when you're in kindergarten. At least you used to. I don't think that's a thing anymore. But when we were kids, Phil, does this child play well with others? Phil Simms would not be getting a good grade on that right now.
You're saying Jim Nantz.
Yeah, Jim Nantz. And Romo is not good at this, right? He steps all over calls. He doesn't shut up. He doesn't have composure in the big moments. He doesn't have any of that. That we can obviously see. What about the guy next to him? Maybe the whole crew is bad. Did that cross anyone's mind?
Yes. Because where's he getting a directive from? I mean, they talk all week. This is their job now. It's not like, hey, I got a job. I go 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Oh, I'm going to call a football game on the weekend. Do you know how many emails you sent throughout the course of the week? Like when we do TV for preseason, it starts Monday up until the game on Friday. It's email after email, building boards. What are your 3 points you want to hit coming out of the gate? Give me your 3 players you want to spotlight in the second half. Now, obviously, they're going to be players that aren't going to be on the team, but let's get creative here. Have input. Let's get a little back and forth here. We're going to go to Perillo in the fourth quarter. Get ready for that. You know the whole setup. You know where you're heading here. And then when a game happens, it just becomes easy. Now, I call local broadcast, so there's more invested in it for me. I have a rooting interest. He's got absolutely no rooting interest for his excitability to be at the level it's at. And, oh, God, Jim, that's a good throw. Nobody else makes that. Oh, he's chasing Jordan. No, he's not chasing Jordan. You didn't get those names right. Have some notes. He has a handler. Beetle, you see it. He's got a guy that travels with him. Puts his music on before the game. They listen to 80s, and he hands him cards throughout the course of the game. It's set up for you to be good. This is why Brady will be good at this when
Romo
he figures it out.
might be more tolerable if he was paired with someone who was a little less stiff, who might be more engaging with the Romo nonsense,
Like who?
who might be able to set him up a little better or engage with him a little bit more. Jim Nantz leaves this guy out on an island.
Oh, Jim will take a shot at him, too. Like when he's wrong.
So
missed that one.
this is not to say that Jim Nantz is doing a poor job. He's obviously an excellent broadcaster. I'm just saying Jim Nantz is wrong for Tony Romo. They're stuck with Romo. He should not be on the top crew. He'd be more tolerable if you paired him with somebody else. This is a bad pairing, too, and I think that's part of the story of this game.
It's a really interesting point because I have a hard time blaming Jim Nantz for Tony Romo's faults.
I'm not blaming him for Tony Romo's faults. I'm saying he's not the right guy to deal with someone who's got faults.
I think that's fair. I do. Because I don't blame Nantz. I don't look at Nantz. I don't think about Nantz. When I hear Romo make the noises that Zoe's talking about that he makes, or when he tries to sing Adele going into break, horrible. Or when he calls Nick Bosa.
Zoe sings the songs coming out of break.
What?
He is the best. He is the
Not a Super Bowl.
He calls one of the best players in the NFL, and I know he's got a brother in the league, and I know people get them confused. It's your job not to get Nick Bosa and Joey Bosa confused. He called Nick Joey during the broadcast. You can't have it.
No. It's not doing your homework, Phil.
That's what I think is the biggest problem.
It's so obvious.
I think he stopped trying, Zoe.
You know when a guy doesn't do homework, right when he come out of the gate, start of the program. Let's go. Let's welcome to Buffalo. Here we are. It's just we're always excited to see Josh Allen, and nothing about you're facing the 23rd ranked defense. Something's got to give today. He doesn't have any of that because he doesn't study. Guy wore a T-shirt to the game up there, T-shirt and a puff jacket. Now he had a tie on for the Super Bowl. Credit to him. Now, how about this guy? How about Kevin Harlan for him?
I don't know if that works either. I think Beadle's making a good point, which is if you're
sure
Nantz,
as hell isn't Iron Eagle. He's more stiff than Jim. It's not Eagle. So I'm looking CBS. We got to stay CBS, right?
Yeah, it's a great. I don't know who the answer is, but I think Beadle's right. You need someone who's going to call Romo out for his BS during the games and do it in a fun way. Don't make it awkward. Don't make it weird. And I think Nantz tried to, on occasion, do some of the things you're talking about, Beadle. But I think it would get a better result, a better product from Romo himself if he was called on some of that stuff in real time. And maybe you do it jokingly. But it's hard. Some of the stuff he does is just, I don't know what Nantz is supposed to do in that situation. I think he's pretty good. And I've only met the guy a couple times, Zoe. I'm sure you've talked to him on many occasions. Nantz. I think Nantz is, I think he's great at his job, but I think he's pretty easy. He seems like a very easy to get along with kind of guy. Is he not?
Steady Eddie kind of guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Very cordial.
Very cordial.
I don't know what he's like behind the scenes.
Right.
You hear the burnt toast story in that, but.
And maybe the fact that Romo's making as much money as he does.
Well, I think
maybe that irks Nantz a bit,
that's
right?
been an item of contention there.
Something was up, Beetle, with his contract. Like, Nantz wasn't signed yet, and they gave Romo all this money, and I think it pissed Nantz off. So.
All right, 617-779-0985. We got more on that. And by the way, he said that when he calls Taylor Swift, the wife of Travis Kelce, that it's his humor, and not everyone's going to get his humor.
Well, I'd stop doing it.
Oh, you're hysterical.
So
he
funny,
is just
right?
a laugh a minute.
It's so funny.
Well, I think they're done. They told each other they loved each other after the broadcast. I think it's over. Greg Olsen in, Romo out. They'll figure out something else to do with Romo. Good. It's that bad. That bad.
Will they put him in the studio?
They got to do something with him, right?
They're
paying him a lot of money.
What the hell was it Sean McManus said on him?
He said it was a big game for him. He knows that he's getting criticized a lot, and he knows it's a big game for him, and I don't think he performed well at all.